Just last week, we complained about how the fourth episode of X-Men 97 was a lower tier compared to the episode that came before it, but deep down, I knew the next episode will be fire because, I mean, it has to at this point, but what I did not know is that episode 5 of X-Men 97 will turn out to be one of the most devastating episodes I've seen in TV history. Like, if I'll keep saying this for every episode, then so be it. I appreciate how consistent this show is with its themes. Each episode feels like a full-length movie despite being merely 30 minutes. The overall complexity of the plot, having different stories going on all at once, is really impressive. The sound designs in the background is soothing and it allows you to get consumed with everything that is going on at the moment. This episode had a bittersweet humor to it, from the interviews they had at the start to the relationship dynamics between Jean and Cyclops, the tension surrounding Rogue, Magneto and Gambit, and then the tragic events of Genosha. This episode was just a wild ride of emotion and brilliance, especially with how curated the events of Genosha turned out to be. The show's themes are taken on a darker tone. It makes me question, is this show still considered kids friendly? Because you can't have kids watching a show where mutants are dying off in the most tragic way possible and where they are also tackling adult relationships the way they are. Like, what's more intriguing is the creators' hint that this episode is just a warm-up for what's to come. They've teased that episode 8 to 10 will be more significant, and I'm like, whoa, like, what do you guys have in store for us? Especially since I'm not ready to lose any more characters. At this point, the show's direction is unpredictable and I'm loving it because it adds intensity to the series. X-Men 97 is currently the highest rated Marvel series on IMDb with a 9.0 over 10 rating. Like, that is insane and so deserving. Now let's get into this episode. Remember it. It started off with the media at the X-Mansion conducting interviews with the X-Men. Since the United Nations officially recognizes Genosha as the mutant nation, they wanted to get the X-Men's perspective on the situation and their overall relationship with humans. When questioned about Baby Cable, we saw Cyclops react with sudden anger. I believe he got upset that way because he knows humans will probably not grasp how crushing Baby Cable came into existence, given that he came from a clone of Jean, and right off after his birth he got infected with the technovirus by Sinister, and then to top it all he had to give him up so that he can be cured. And that is a decision Cyclops didn't want to indulge in because he knows what it feels like to not grow up with one's family and he doesn't want that for his son.
There has to be another way. I won't be like my father. I won't abandon my son.
If you recall in episode 3, when they were making the decision, he walked away because he doesn't want to be a part of it. So being asked about his son got him all riled up because they refreshed his memory on the tragic events, and then he also can't go into details of that experience because it's not a typical human experience. So he then walked away on them again. At this point, I think I'm going to be calling him the walk away man because all he does is just walk away. Jean and Cyclops have also not been in great terms since after the events of Madelyne Pryor. In this episode, we got a glimpse of what it's been like since the cause of the event. Things have been awkward between the two. Jean has been trying to gather all the memories she missed out, and Cyclops has not been his true self, knowing that the mother of his son is not his wife but a clone of her. That is a little overwhelming, I can't lie. Seeing Jean and Cyclops revisit their relationship and realizing how differently they perceived the events surrounding Jean getting the Phoenix power revealed the true state of their relationship. And also, Jean discovering Cyclops is still maintaining communication with Madelyne Pryor via psychic rapport even after leaving the mansion left her devastated. It was hurtful to Jean because the psychic rapport thingy was supposed to be something exclusive between her and Cyclops. So seeing that Cyclops is still in communication with Madelyne Pryor in that regard was really hurtful, I can't lie. The whole situation was somehow funny because technically Madelyne Pryor is still Jean and she's the mother of Cyclops' son, but one can argue it can still be considered cheating it's just, I don't know, the situation is just messed up. I don't know if it's cheating or not. Let me know what you think about that. I believe the creators wants to use the opportunity to develop Jean and Logan's relationship as well, because we saw Jean kiss Logan earlier and I'm like, okay, what is going on? But how Logan reacted afterwards was surprising to me, because I'm like, bro, this is what you've been begging for all your life and you got it on the platter and you are fumbling the situation. But I get it. Wolverine is a man of integrity. He wants Jean to talk to Cyclops and reach agreements before anything can go further between them, and that is also commendable. The Genosha Arc is something I will call misleading, because we started off seeing the beauty of Genosha as the peaceful haven for mutants to coexist happily and freely, a place where mutants can call home without the fear of government oppression or anti-mutant sentiments. We met characters like Nightcrawler, and I like seeing him because he's one of my best characters from the X-Men. I'm not even going to lie, I really like Nightcrawler, so seeing him in this episode made the episode more juicy, if that makes sense. We met other characters like Emma Frost, her team, and the other mutants in Genosha. They were all thriving in this environment. It was a beautiful sight to witness, if I must say. So seeing this peaceful city ultimately get crushed by the end of this episode was more than heartbreaking. Following the UN's recognition of Genosha as a nation, Magneto was invited to lead the nation due to his and Professor X's sacrifices in fighting for mutant rights. Magneto accepted the offer, but on the condition of having Rogue by his side as Queen, because he believes people will trust her more for being a member of the X-Men. So two of them pairing up would make their leadership strong, but Rogue was not fully on board with Magneto's plan because she knows Gambit would not be happy seeing them together in that regard. She then took the opportunity to explain her relationship with Magneto to Gambit, you know, how they met and why she couldn't be with him because her powers restrict them from having a physical contact, and that is most vital in any relationship if you ask me. Whereas for Magneto, his magnetism shields him from Rogue's touch and allows them to make contact. It was a heartbreaking moment for Rogue and Gambit as they called their relationship quits, because I feel like Gambit lost the most, if that makes sense. And I also found the backstory of how she met Magneto to be insightful, to say the least. From that moment onwards, things went sideways in Genosha. We saw Cable come from the future to warn Madeleine Pryor of the Godzilla Sentinel attack, but he was late because the Godzilla had gotten to Genosha by the time. Bro, this Godzilla Sentinel was wild. It had like a reservoir of the original Sentinels we were used to. They were killing and destroying the mutants in Genosha. This episode was truly brutal. Seeing the Sentinels attack Genosha and almost eliminating half of the mutants was heart-wrenching. The collapse of the giant Professor X statue onto the mutants, coupled with Leech recalling Magneto's words, I'm like, do you guys want a fully grown man to bust out crying or what? Like, it was just too much for me, bro. Magneto's expression during this moment was one of the most genuine I've seen from him. He like displayed true anger and determination to fulfill his promise to Leech, and that was just, I don't know, I'm tired of saying heartbreaking, but that was heartbreaking, bro. These final scenes of the episodes were simply overwhelming. Gambit ending the episode with the big sacrifice was mind-blowing. The way they had Gambit play a crucial role in this episode, I knew something was up in play, but I never expected he would die. Like, Gambit had it worse because he recently ended things with Rogue, which had its own fair share of emotions. Then sacrificing himself for Rogue was catastrophic. It not only showcased the type of person he is, but it also made me become a fan of him.
The name's Gambit, mon ami. Remember it.
Bro saved everyone at the cost of his life and took out the Godzilla Sentinel in a grand style. If that is not going to be one of the top 5 moments of this show, then I don't know what else can. RIP to Gambit. It was a fun ride with him. Do you guys think he will still make a comeback, or he's actually gone for good? Because I know Magneto will definitely make a comeback, but I think Gambit is actually gone, but we will have to find out in the next episode or maybe later on in the show. If you made it to this level of the video, you are the real MVP. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel. Let me know what you think about this episode down in the comments. I had a busy week. I just couldn't get myself to wrap up this video and upload it, but let me know what you guys think about that. I'll see you guys in my next video. I'm out of here.